Hello everybody, my name is Sonics, and in the recent light of new beta keys coming out, I just want to give you guys a complete in-depth explanation as to how the Wildstar Beta keys actually work. So, essentially, Gaffner said about a month ago, or 22 days ago, he said, we need data from folks who have never tested the game before as a control group against those who had played a bunch, and a little. Sorry, science. It's only a few new folks relative to the entire bunch of testers, however, just enough to get statistically significant data. We will get in stress testers as quickly as feasible, given that need, though. If no tech issues, we'll expand the beta firmly and dramatically from this go-round. For instance, where possible, we'll be adding a stream of new testers each week so we can compare the relative retention of different cohorts. That lets us normalize against external influences, like the console launches, Christmas, and stuff like that, to see what retention issues are in-game and which are external. So, where science may be the enemy for Wave 1, it is the friend of future waves at least. So, essentially, your chances weren't amazing in Wave 1 if you've never been in the beta before, but, you know, over the next couple of weeks, more tests will be coming out and more invites will be coming out, and, you know, the game's gonna progress. Once we seed in all the stress testers, we'll do all new folks afterwards. So they're doing stress tests first and then new people. So if you've done a stress test previously, then you are pretty much guaranteed a spot in beta. It may not be now, but it could be next week, could be the week after that, etc. But they'll progressively do more random people since then. So, then Cougar, who said this 20 days ago and who gave us the updates on the beta keys, said, I want to publicly state how we're adding new testers into the beta. Many of you have seen Jeremy's post, which I just read to you. I want to expand a bit more on this to give you guys more information. One note before I get into that though, to all the previous stress testers that are awaiting your permanent beta invite, I've got your backs. I know how many of you are out there, and I know how I'm going to go through that list and you get all invited. It won't be all at once and we won't start going through that list until December, but we will honor our promise to you guys. You'll have access. There are just a lot of you in the stress test pool, which is the core of the problem. This is not the time to break our servers. We creep ever closer to launch, and having a successful reopening of our beta is extremely important. We need to add users to the beta in an extremely controlled fashion to ensure that our stability is exactly where we need it to be. My mum used to talk about setting you up for success. I've long ago taken that to heart. In order to set this first phase of winter beta up for success, we need to control how many people can access the beta. Between the older CBT testers and the stress testers, there are too many of you to let back in all at once. I don't know how many of you are going to show up, and while I've got formulas, historical activity, and assumptions as to how many of you are going to show up, I have to be conservative. When forced to make a choice that doesn't make everyone happy, we decided it would be less jarring to keep some stress testers waiting than to not re-invite the permanent CBT testers. Next up, friend keys. This is an experiment, one in which we think has a lot of promise. I like playing MMOs with friends and I tend to cycle out of games that my friends aren't playing. Why wouldn't this apply to our beta testers as well? Pretty basic in retrospect, isn't it? We want you to play in our beta with friends. We think you'll have a lot of fun here. Thing is, people aren't necessarily giving them to friends. This was also sort of predictable, and ultimately that's fine. However, one thing we wanted to make sure we clearly communicate to everyone about the friend keys is that they are intrinsically linked. We want you to give them to your friends, we want you to play together. One thing to realize, in part to encourage this behavior, any disciplinary action taken to one of the linked accounts will be shared between the accounts. I.e., if your friend does something bannable, you will likely be banned too. Will you be willing to risk your participation in the beta on your friends? Yep, probably. Someone you don't know? Less so. It's an internal policy. We probably should have included that in our original email, and we will make sure that moving forward, when we send out additional emails with friend keys on them, this will have the disclaimer in them. We don't feel too awful about not including it previously, is as the folks affected are mainly those breaking terms of service about selling keys and buying keys online. We'll handle individual cases rationally in any case. To keep giving us feedback for now. To borrow Frost's line from the dev speak, the devs are listening. To those of you who don't have keys yet, I also have a plan for how I'm getting you into the beta. We haven't forgotten you either. So, essentially, you're just going to have to wait it out. They are going to prioritize the old stress testers and the old permanent CBT members, and they are going to increase the waves of people who have never been in the beta before as they progress throughout the months. So, if you haven't ever been in the beta, wait till next week. If any of you only have a friend key, give it to me, because I'll be your best friend. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you learn a little bit more about the beta, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.